A banana can be eaten. A banana is not a fruit. Don't eat a banana. If a person says they are a fruit, they're not. It's a vegetable. Your bananas are just the same as my bananas. Eat a carrot and I will eat your eyes out. Cucumber's introduction about 20 years ago. An author decided to become a food scientist, a career he never would have chosen had he not wanted to study how the human body metabolizes food. He worked in the lab of Dr. Garry Kasparov, then a professor at the University of California, San Francisco. Kasparov was one of the most successful players in chess history, having won the U.S. Chess Championship 6 times. His research was focused on the metabolism of food. He'd seen that humans have a preference for foods that are higher in starch. In the 1970s, he began to think that the reason was genetic. The sweet taste of the fruit is sweet because it contains natural sugars that our bodies cannot break down. However, this is only true for fruits. When it comes to vegetables, there is no natural sugar, so our body has to turn to starch to digest them. This is how we become fat and why we get fat. At the start of his career, Kasparov was not aware of this tendency. But he was intrigued by a number of scientific papers that suggested there might be a link between the taste and the size of fruits. One of these papers was published in 1981 in Nature magazine. 2 years later, a paper came out in French that showed a similar effect in humans. So Kasparov thought he'd done his own analysis. Then he saw his name on a list of world chess champions. That's how bananas came to be. Introduction Part 1. Introduction. Sociological theory. From this perspective, the study of society as the food pyramid, seems to consist of 3 parts: food, food as art, and the future of the food pyramid. From the perspective of the author, this pyramid is composed of an endless chain of different, complementary elements, each having a different purpose. This pyramid begins with a focus on food and food products, which is linked to the concept of art and creativity. Food is then linked with people and society. Finally, we have food as a future. This is perhaps the most interesting part of this statement because of its obvious relevance to our world today. The author's perspective is that people are now getting the information they need from the media and through the internet, whereas the past has been dominated by what the researcher would consider unproductive or frivolous. The author recognizes that much of what we see on television and on social media is based on fact, while much that is untrue is in the process of being disproven. The last thing the authors really want is to change the world through a process that will be inevitable. They don't want to contribute to society by doing something that they can't do. If they could, they would take the time to do it. The author is interested in the future, where we will all be able to eat what we want.